Somewhere I got the notion of making my own homemade canoe-kayak hybrid. I had some basic carpentry skills, so I figured, hey, why not? I drew up some simple plans, got the materials, and put it together in a couple weeks in my garage. It actually looked pretty good. Now all I had to do was test it out on the open water. Mexico's largest lake, Lake Chapala, was not too far away, so on a beautiful spring day, I took my daughter, Gabriella, and we loaded up the boat and matching paddles, and we headed out to the lake. My little boat looked even smaller on the water, but we cautiously climbed in and sat down. Not very stable, but we stayed afloat, so we began paddling toward our destination, Mezcala Island. It looked close enough and the lake was calm, so off we went. It was a beautiful sunny day, perfect for a fun little adventure on the water. 4 hours later, we were still paddling, but we were almost there to this historic island in the middle of the lake. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a very strong wind began to blow down from over the mountains. We were only about 100 yards from the island when the lake got super rough and choppy. Whitecaps appeared across the lake. Within moments, waves were coming over the sides of my little boat, and we were taking on water fast. I told Gaby to prepare to get wet, because we were going to capsize at any second. Sure enough, within seconds, the tiny craft filled with water, and we went under. The boat flipped over as we held on for dear life. My camera was ruined. Everything else was soaked, sinking, or floating away. By God's grace, the last tourist shuttle boat of the day was on its way out to the island. I held up a paddle as a distress signal. They saw our predicament and came to our rescue. They pulled the canoe on board and helped Gaby and I climb aboard as well. A small child on the boat started crying and didn't understand what was happening with these crazy wet gringos climbing into the boat in the middle of the lake. A minute later, we pulled into the dock and were soon on dry ground on Mezcala Island. We had an hour to dry off and explore the beautiful landscape and ancient ruins there. I lost one of my Crocs in the water, and the ground was covered with thorns and burrs, making walking very slow and painful. But we had a wonderful time anyway, and the hour went by quickly. The wind continued to blow, so we opted to take the last tourist boat back to the town. As we boarded, I spotted my missing Croc floating along the shore and retrieved it. It was an unforgettable adventure that taught me a few valuable lessons. First, my boat was not the best design for rough water, or for two people for that matter. Second, we should have done some investigation with the locals and would have learned that the winds always kick up in the afternoon, meaning we should have left a few hours earlier if we wanted to make it all the way to the island. Last of all, I learned that adventures that aren't well planned in advance can be very costly. I love wild, crazy adventures. But what if we hadn't been rescued? What if we had missed the last boat of the day? We would have had to swim the rest of the way to the island, dragging the capsized canoe, then waited until the lake calmed and paddle back another 4 hours in the dark, or spend the night on a spooky, deserted island. That would have been a much different adventure, but we survived and lived to tell about it. I am so proud of my daughter and glad that she still shares my spirit of adventure. Thank you so much for listening to this true story from Memoirs of Mexico. If you enjoyed this story, or if it was a blessing to you, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. That would be a blessing to me. I upload a new true story every day. If you like to read, you can also order Memoirs of Mexico in paperback or ebook on Amazon.com. There's a link in the description. Thanks again for listening.